Hello and welcome back to the Magical Man Cave. I'm going to show you around again. A lot has changed since the last update. So, we are now currently behind the bar and you may notice a little bit of a change in the lighting. So this is behind the bar and it's all clad and everything. And then we've got these bar lights here. I still need to replace this one with a black front, so I'm going to do that. I've got these 4 bar lights, and they are actually a bit of a ceiling light, but they're mounted sideways onto the archway. Each of these bulbs can be individually addressed. They're all smart lights, so most of them are green. That one's actually white, just to give me a bit more light for filming. I haven't quite finished the cladding here, but it has at least got plasterboard on there. I'm going to be finishing all of that as soon as I've got more planks. And the reason I don't have the planks is on the other side of the bar. So let me show you the other side just over here. Okay, so this is the bar area that you will have seen already. I have now finished the archway. So the archway here now has a top piece. And I've also started cladding it as well in that wood that we all know and love. So this is the main feature wall. So we have those glowing mushrooms there, and I'm still building the archway, so that's all going to be finished fairly soon. But here we've got a couple of planks missing, and then we've got the main display wall. So the main display wall is now clad all the way through, all the way to here, except for this tiny little piece here. Now the reason that this hasn't been done yet is because I haven't chased out the wall enough, which basically means cutting a hole in the wall so that the wires can go in there. Most of it has been done, which is why the wires for the sconces aren't visible. So you can see here where I've started to chase out. So I've chased out all of this behind the sconce. Ignore the fairy lights because they really have nothing to do with it. So this is the chasing out here. And it doesn't look particularly pretty, doesn't particularly need to be though. So the wires at the moment come up and they're held in by cable clips. They're actually going to run in that channel there. It goes up here. I've done all this with a router, but it needs to be done with an oscillating saw so that I can finish off this part, and then that wire can then go back and it will all look really neat. It'll all be covered by these planks. So the next thing to show you is the quote from Albus Dumbledore. Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times, when one only remembers to turn on the light. It says there, Albus Dumbledore. All of that has been gold plated onto the wall, and if you want to find out how, then I've put a video link, or up here, I'm not quite sure which way it'll need to go. Then we've got all of the stuff that I've put onto the wall, all of the pictures and Hagrid's umbrella. I'm also going to put Lucius Malfoy's wand. I'm going to put that horizontally about there, I think. I also need to put up some shelves, probably in the corner there. Not quite sure where it's all going to go yet, because we need to make sure that it kind of avoids the lights, which are in, I'll be honest, quite an awkward position for shelving. I could put a shelf in here, but I probably need to put it up fairly high, so I might do that. I've also got an NT for LK carved in there. That's for me and my wife, which I thought was really sweet. I haven't finished this. The reason I haven't gone too far is because I want to build out a fireplace towards the camera here, and that'll cover all of this stuff, all of the wiring. The black sockets that we're looking at here, I'm going to keep that one, but I'm not going to keep that one. I'm going to change that one for the white one behind the bar. Then I can make the most of the black. Then we've got some cloaks there all hanging up, and then we've got the TV. All of these boxes here have books and cocktail cards in them. They're basically my stock. So if you do want to support this channel, head on down to the links in the description where you can buy some magical cocktail books, magical cocktail cards. Here over above the door, we've got the door sensor, which I think is really useful because that turns on the lights without me having to say commands to she who must not be named. Over here, we have a block sort of nailed to the wall. I'm going to put another brace against the wall there today. It's actually about 3 AM while I'm filming this. Everyone's asleep, so I can talk as loud as I want out in the man cave. And then I'm going to put a horizontal bar just in there and then insulate that. That should hopefully warm things up a little bit. So there is a bit of a difference between the outside temperature and the inside temperature. It's still quite cold in here though. It's about 6 degrees at the moment, which is why I've got my jumper, my hoodie and my coat. It's quite cold out here. So it's a little bit warmer than a fridge, but not much. So at the moment, It's probably about -2 outside at the moment, so it's really cold outside. But it's reasonably, relatively warm in here. So I'm hoping that just by insulating that wall, we're going to increase that. So I also need to replace the door at some point, but I'm not going to do that just yet. Okay, so moving back on over to the archway, you'll notice this black hole here. This is actually a moving portrait, and again, I've done a video on that. I'll link it up here. So this is a moving portrait which all needs to be framed up and everything, but it does currently work, and I'll show you how. So at the moment, this is all linked up to a Mac Mini, which is effectively a media player at the moment. That's my mouse there. That's all the Mac Mini stuff with all the connectors. This one's a connector. It's a lightning port to VGA. The VGA is then going to feed the monitor, and the monitor is then in a weird orientation. So as you can probably tell from the logo there, it's from that way, it's been turned that way. And then we've got over here the keyboard, which is what I use to type in my password and all of that sort of stuff. All of this stuff behind here, I know, absolute mess, but it kind of needs to be. I've already said this in previous videos. I'm not going to bother tidying up just yet until such time as there's actually a point in doing it, because at the moment I know it looks like chaos. It's kind of organized chaos. Over here by my painting station, we've also got this banker's lamp, which if you point your magic wand and you say Lumos, it comes on automatically. Actually, it's one of these things. This is the runestone. I have done a video about that. Again, link up here. Let's just turn it off. The only other thing that I need to show you is again behind the bar, and let's flip the camera around one final time. We have a bell. This is for last orders behind the bar, although it's probably never going to be rung because I don't want to hold to last orders. This pub is always open. Okay, so what do you think? Let me know down in the comments. I'll be back next time with some more magical awesomeness. But until next time, as always,
Stay magical.